Tony D and Little Joan with a screenwriter's rant on Alarum, starring Sylvester Stallone, Scott Eastwood, and Willow Fitzgerald, in a movie that I'm kind of not sure what it's about totally. Something to do with the surveillance state and a bunch of double-crossing agents. Smash a like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. The links are in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys, books 1 through 16, available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. So Scott Eastwood, I think he's related to Clint Eastwood. He's the lead, and he's in love with Willa Fitzgerald, who he meets on a mission. I'm not sure who they work for. Some kind of agency, I guess, or themselves. And they meet and fall in love, and then they get married. And then they work together, but then they separate for some reason during the movie, because Scott Eastwood finds a plane that's gone down, and it's full of something, directed by Michael Polish and Alexander Visha. Now, I think when the plane goes down, they call Sylvester Stallone to recover the items, but then Mike Coulter, who's the bad guy, shows up and then tries to kill Scott Eastwood, but he kills like a million guys and then gets away, and then somehow he contacts Sylvester Stallone, and somehow his wife's been kidnapped because she's in on it too. It's very confusing in the trailer. The trailer focuses mainly on the actors in terms of their personalities and the weapons. Like, it doesn't focus on the plot at all. It's got a weird focus. So I'm struggling to figure out exactly what's happening. And I know that Mike Coulter's the bad guy. And they want to destroy... He wants to destroy Alarum, because that's some sort of surveillance thing, and he's an extremist, I guess. But then, I don't know, it's way too convoluted. I don't like the plot at all. At least not the way it's presented here in the trailer. Note to screenwriters, you gotta make your plot, you gotta be able to pitch it in a sentence. If you can't pitch it in a sentence, it's probably too complicated. At least you should be able to pitch it in a sentence in a trailer. So, I don't know if these guys are spies or criminals who are working for government agencies, or none of them appear to be law enforcement. So, it just appears to be a lot of too clever plot points, like, oh, it's a double agent, double cross. That's in the trailer. Like, but what agency are you with? Are you with the CIA? Are you with the MI6 guys, or the IRA, or the KGB, or what's the new KGB? FBS. Are you with the Mossad? Like, what agency? Are you just making up a bunch of agencies? Okay, I guess. I mean, that doesn't seem like it's gonna sell to the audience too well. I get it. You're selling this mostly on Sylvester Stallone being in it. And it's good that he's in it. I mean, now he's the crafty veteran who has a shotgun machine gun. And Scott Eastwood does all the heavy lifting, and then Stallone is the support. That's what he is now, I guess. Personally, I'd rather see Stallone in, again, something like Copland, some kind of small movie where he does something cool. I mean, this is okay. This feels like the Bruce Willis movies that Bruce Willis would still be doing if he wasn't, out of commission. They're okay B movies, I guess. I mean, the action looks cool. I'm just not. I'm struggling to figure out what's at stake here. So let me take a stab at the three acts. So first act, I think it's Scott Eastwood meets Willa Fitzgerald and they become husband and wife. I think maybe they already are married and it's a ruse that some of the dialogue of the ruse is in the trailer because they jump out a window together and then she sort of flirts with him. It's weird. Um, then in the beginning of the second act, he discovers the plane. Now, that he discovers some plane with important stuff in it and guys try to kill him. I mean, you could have just simplified it by making him some sort of ex-military guy. Him and his wife could have both been ex-military, which would give you reason, that they could fire guns and kill them all. But whatever. So then he's on the run. She is also on the run for other reasons. I'm not quite clear, but somehow she gets captured, not him. Then he goes to Sylvester Stallone, who then provides him the ammo and the support he needs to go save his wife, which I assume happens in the third act with Mike Coulter. They're holed up in a house, and he has a seemingly endless array of henchmen, and they're just machine gunning the house to pieces, but somehow Sylvester Stallone and Scott Eastwood never get hit and then come out and kill everybody. Like, would I watch this? Well, it's kind of in my wheelhouse. I like these movies. I like the action. I would give it a chance despite all my criticisms of it. But it wouldn't be high on my list because the presentation here is so confusing. But I do like Stallone. But he just seems to be, I'm not going to say sleepwalking through the movie. He's just kind of there. I'm like, hey, I'm Sylvester Stallone. How you doing? Scott Eastwood is trying. Willa Fitzgerald is trying slightly harder. Mike Coulter is solid. It doesn't seem to be, he can't lift this movie as the villain. He can't. It's more on Scott Eastwood, but I don't know. It's such a confusing plot to me. I have a feeling I could watch it, but I would get bored of the plot. I would zoom through the exposition, or I would just sort of tune out and then kind of tune back in for the third act and a big gunfight. All right, let's read. Maybe the write-up will have answers. 2 rogue spies. Okay, so that's what they are. Go off-grid, marry, and come under attack as their remote cabin hideaway by various intel agencies seeking a stolen hard drive. Yeah, that's not a good plot. It's just not a good plot. 2 rogue spies. Okay, what does that mean? Rogue spies from what? Okay, let's say it's the CIA. What does rogue mean in the CIA? Well, do they have some sort of secrets? Because usually I believe when you leave the CIA, you get debriefed, where they say, well, okay, you're out of the CIA, but you can't talk about this, this, and this. And, they pat you on the back and send you on your way. Like, why would they need to go rogue? So are they up against the government agency? Is that alarm? Maybe. So, yeah, that doesn't really work. Like, back in the 60s during the Cold War, yeah, that totally worked. I mean, it was spy stuff all day long. These days, it kind of doesn't work. It's too murky. Nobody knows whose side it, And why not just say the CIA? I mean, why not make it simple? 2 rogue CIA agents. Okay, at least we know it's the CIA. At least we know it's the United States. Is there some sort of copyright issue with that? I don't think so, but maybe. Maybe Hollywood doesn't want to make the CIA mad. But it doesn't seem to connect too much with reality. If they were rogue, I don't know, agents from another country, right? If they had escaped, China or Russia or something, that would make slightly more sense, because they come to America to start new lives. But I'm not sure how you make two rogue agents getting married work. Like, it feels like you're trying to co-opt some of the Mr. and Mrs. Smith stuff in order to start a new franchise here. And it's not quite fun enough to be Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which I'm not a big fan of, by the way. It just seems to be a convoluted way, and you're going to have to explain their marriage. And I guess that's what it is in the beginning here. They're rogue agents. Maybe if they're from opposite sides and that's why they went, I guess that's probably the story, right? He's an American, maybe she's from Russia, and they go off and get married, and that's why they're rogue. From the director of Force of Nature. Maybe. I don't know. Double cross, double agent, and Sylvester Stallone. My only thing is, keep this damn movie short. All right, let me see how long it is. That's the real telltale of whether or not I'm going to see this. How long is it? Oh, you don't have the length? Well, if this thing's a tight 90, sure. If this thing's a second over 2 hours, no effing way. No effing way. Yeah, maybe. Anyhow, that's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan. Check us out on the green site, the orange site, and the black site for more videos. I will be at the Williamstown Middle School tomorrow from 10 to 2 for the holiday mart there. Should be a lot of fun. Hope to see you there. We'll see you in the next one.